This is kind of an impromptu live, so I hope I'm not streaming over anyone else's live. I just thought I would come on here. I've been looking for like the perfect time to snag all of the quilts in the house. My kids are very attached to their quilts. They love their quilts. So I had a viewer a while ago ask if I could do a trunk show and kind of show some of the things that I've made, some of the quilts that I've made. So I went and I gathered all of the quilts pretty much in our house, and some other things. But as a quilter, we can all relate. We gift a lot of things, and I also do a lot of commission quilts. So after I show you the physical quilts that I have, I will show you some of the pictures of other ones that I've made for customers or for family or for friends because I don't have them with me. So let's get on into it. Let's start with, I do want to start with one quilt in particular. So let me go through this pile and get to it. I think it's all the way at the bottom. Okay. This quilt. Hi, Vicki. Hello, Kathy. Good morning. I'm doing a little trunk show. It was recommended or asked for by a viewer, and I've been wanting to do it ever since I've seen that comment. So here we are. This quilt I want to start with because my grandmother made it for me. So I did not make this quilt. It's absolutely beautiful. I wish there was a way to show you. Let me see if I can find it. She did some like hand stitching of little like birds on there too. These are little birds. This was my first quilt that I ever got from my grandma, and the name is Birds for Beth, and then it has Christmas 2004. And so she put this really cute little label on there. I love her illustration. She always makes like homemade cards and stuff for, holidays and stuff. I just love that. It's so cute. But this was the quilt that kind of started it all in a sense because I absolutely loved it when I got it. I slept with it every night for years and years and years and years until I got the next one from her, and I kind of retired this one and put it away for safekeeping. But this was the first one. This was, huge. She did a lot of like applique on here, as you can see. She used all of these patches are made from my baby clothes, like my little dresses that I would wear. And it's just really special to me because me and her, we used to watch birds. She had a really, really big tree in her front yard, and we would sit in her room by the window and we would watch birds together. So let me scoot this back so we can get like a good view of all of the quilts. But yeah, this is the first one I wanted to start with because it's very, very special to me. And I wanted to repair it because it's just gotten old and it's well loved. We use our quilts in this house, so that's what kind of got me started quilting because I wanted to learn how to fix it. So let's go on to the next one. Now this is the second one that she made. So these are the only ones in the pile that I did not make. These are from my grandma. She's extremely talented, and it's a really, really fun, huge green and purple and yellow rag quilt. So on the back, it's a rag quilt. And it's so, so cute. And I remember when I was learning how to quilt and I made my first rag quilt, I had been cuddling with this for years, using it every single night. I think I got this for my graduation present from high school, like my 18th birthday, graduation, Christmas, all in one, because I'm a December baby. But yeah, this is pretty cool. When I finally made my rag quilt, I was like, wait, that quilt that I use every single night, that's a rag quilt. That's what all these little fluffies are for. So this one is also special. I know you can hear the kiddos. They're about to eat lunch. But I thought I would just hop on here before naps, before they check to make sure they have all their quilts back. So let's go to this one. This one was early on in my quilting. I was watching a lot of Melanie Ham, like literally all the time. and I watched her log cabin quilt video, like a simple log cabin quilt. So I got some jelly rolls from Joanne, and I got some of this like all ready to go binding, which I did not know when I started. I thought, hey, this binding is going to be so easy. I don't actually have to make my own binding, but this is like super slippery, and I struggled with it when I started out. Thank you, Janine. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Janine. I am not familiar with rag quilts. They are pretty fun. They're really fast to make. I enjoy it. What you do is you do 3 layers, and you're going block by block, but you have like the whole sandwich. So you would have your backing, your batting, or flannel. People use different material for the inside for the ragging. Yes, it is satin. So then you'd have your backing, your middle, your top, and then you would make all your blocks. So say you're making like a 5-inch scrap patchwork quilt. You'd make all of your 5-inch squares sandwiched and ready to go, and then you would sew those sandwiched squares together, right sides out, and then you would rag it. I have a very small short on my channel explaining how to make a rag quilt, so if you're interested, I can also make like a bigger video for you. It's super simple, but yeah, so that's the front, and here's the back. And you can't really tell, but I used variated thread, and I did free motion quilting. It was on my first machine. I was just on like a simple Brother machine, and I just did some free motion quilting all over the place. So yeah, that was fun. And then I just did jelly rolls, and as you can tell, there's like a section in the binding that goes from this teal to the pink. So I had run out, I didn't have enough, and so I just attached this little pink section, and I actually think it's kind of cute. It works out. Thank you for dropping links, Melissa. Satin is very slippery. I want to try it sometime though. Now that I've had some practice with it and I've worked with it a few times, it's not as bad. But as a brand new quilter, I was not expecting that to be so slippery and move underneath my needle so much. So it caught me by surprise. I, as you can tell, also did like a double line of stitching going around because I was like not confident that it was going to stay where it was. So thank you, Colleen, for dropping that. All right, let's start with, or let's go on to this one. This one is my first quilt ever, like first quilt ever. Brand new, didn't even know how to use a rotary cutter or a ruler, none of that. I heavily relied on my mother-in-law. She is a quilter, and I had a sewing machine and I wanted to learn. And so she kind of took me under her wing, and she showed me like all of the basics. She showed me how to cut. She showed me how to do sashing. She showed me how to iron and all of that stuff. And then once I got the pieces cut out, I pretty much was just like, let's go. I was watching videos like crazy on YouTube, and I pretty much finished this all by myself. So she helped me cut and like kind of get the basics down, and then I went on to the binding. Look at this binding, guys. It's a little sketchy. I'm surprised this quilt has even, held up for how long it has, like 3 years, I feel like 3 or 4 years. Look at that sashing or the binding. Look at this flap. Look at how far away I was from the edge. Oh my goodness. Things like, look at that mitered corner, guys. That's really nice. But I wanted to make this for my son. He loves Daniel Tiger. He's my firstborn, so I was like, I have to make him the quilt first. And then on the back, I put this really fun fabric, and it has like ABCs and numbers and like some animals. So I thought it would be a good way for him to learn while he was in bed. And like we could lay it on the floor and be like, okay, where's G? Where's, all the different letters. So this is well loved. I also did free motion quilting on this. I was really into free motion quilting before it was like, it's blown up lately. I really enjoyed it. And so there's just a bunch of random meandering lines everywhere with white thread. What was I thinking? Beth, I did that with my first binding, then went back and stitched the excess by hand. Yeah, I should probably give this some TLC. I'm hoping that at some point he's gonna kind of like let go of it. Don't get me wrong, I love that he uses it and loves on it hard. That's what you want as a quilter. You want people to use your quilts, to love them. And it's been amazing to watch that. I've made him several other quilts though, so I'm hoping that like at some point he'll let go of this so I can fold it up and then maybe he can give it to one of his kids or just keep it, keep it safe because I feel like it is nearing the end. I'm gonna have to do some repairs. There's like a little patch on there that I got from Joanne. But yeah, this was my first quilt. I have come a long way. I think it's really cool to look back. Hi, Kim. Hello, Sandra. I want to make a sign language alphabet baby quilt. Oh, that would be amazing. That'd be so cute. I guess we should keep it up with like, oh, okay, I lied. There's one more from my grandma. One more. This was my baby quilt. She made this, and I cuddled with this so much as a baby. Super, super cute. And again, all of these patches were from my dresses, like when I was a baby girl. And she did little hand ties on all of them. I've been wanting to tie a quilt. I've watched a lot of videos on how to do it. I just haven't, sacrificed a quilt top in a sense to try it out for the first time yet. So maybe I'll just make like a practice sandwich and see how it all works. But on the back of this, there's some flannel and it's super, super soft now because it's been loved on for years and years and years. But yes, I thought I would share this one as well. So those are all of the ones that my grandmother had made. I just wanted to really show like the influence that she has or, had in me kind of having an appreciation for quilts before I knew how to quilt. Because though I did not know how much time and effort and love and money goes into making these, I loved them so much. I was that kid where I was like, oh my gosh, is grandma gonna make us socks this year? Is she gonna like make a quilt? I was always ready. I was always super excited to see what she was gonna make because she does crochet, knitting, quilting, cross stitch, literally everything. That woman is maybe one day I'll be at her level. So let's go to the next quilt. This is another kid quilt. Like I said, these are ones that are just at my house. Once I'm through all of the physical ones, I'll show you ones that I've made for clients or for family or for friends because you guys know as quilters, we give a lot of our quilts. So we don't really have a lot to show of our work sometimes besides a picture. So here is the next quilt. I'm sure some of you have heard me talk about, but my goal for my kids, and I have 3 of them, so this might be a lofty goal. Let's see. Let's move you back even more. Is to make a quilt for them every year for their birthday. So I want them to have a quilt from me every single year so that when I'm long and gone, long gone, they have something to kind of remember me by and like just have something tangible to be like, my mom made this for me. And I just think that'd be so, so cool if they had their own collection of quilts and maybe it would influence them to get into quilting later on in life as well. So here is the Curious George quilt. So each year I try to pick a theme that they really like. And this year Addington was really into Curious George. So I found some fabric from Joanne. And all this is Joanne fabric, guys. I didn't get into designer fabric for well into maybe 2 years of quilting. So that's more recent for me. I live for coupons and I live for a good deal. So this is all Joanne fabric. And you know what? It's been doing okay. It's been doing okay. It's washed. It's spit up on. It's a kid's quilt. So it works. And then the back, I have this really fun fabric that kind of matches. It's a different colorway from the binding, but I thought this was super fun. I love the green and yellow, and I really like to do this style of quilting, especially if they're quilts for us. It goes really fast, and I still get to like see the fabric. It's not like cut up too much to where you're like, wait, is that a Curious George quilt? Oh yeah, it is. There's his ear. This just showcases the fabric. I just, willy-nilly cut strips and I try to make them like differ in width and then I try to make it symmetrical. I'll have like a center strip and then I'll lay out my pieces just so that it's symmetrical and it works out. And then I did some wavy line quilting. So I do have a video on wavy line quilting if you're interested. I'm not sure if that's really coming on camera, but I go strip by strip while I'm quilting, and I'll either, put one wavy line in between or two, depending on the width of the strip. And then just to give it a little bit extra security, I will stitch in the straight seams as well. Thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Melissa. I knitted quilts for all my nieces, nephews, and grands. Wow, Colleen. Nothing wrong with Joann's. Nothing wrong with Joann's. I absolutely love it. Yes, I don't know why it's got a bad rap. You can make beautiful quilts. You can make beautiful things from Joann. And, if quality is a concern for you, they have, their own selection of higher end fabrics compared to their other brands. So there's stuff there, guys. Don't nix it. It's good. These quilts aren't falling apart. And, a 4-year-old has had this for quite some time, and it's doing just fine. So, plus using coupons, come on. Fabric's expensive. Come on. I love cut willy-nilly. Yeah, I just cut willy-nilly. No thinking, no math. The only math that's involved is when I have the quilt top already done, and then I have to figure out, okay, how big is the backing going to be? So since I showed that one, let's see. Here is Zoe's. So this is Zoe's Curious George quilt. Similar layout. Like I said, the strip layout just works really well for me. And then there's this adorable, I try to make it a girl version of Addington's. So I've got some sparkles in this pink fabric up here. These really cute, pastel-y stripes that matched the vibe, the colors of this really cute print with Curious George, eating donuts and candy and ice cream and cake. And then on the back, all of that is the backing. But yeah, who doesn't love sparkles? Both of these pink and the stripes have sparkles on them. And I believe, yep, the binding has some metallic. It's not necessarily sparkles per se, but there's splattered silver metallic. So that's really fun. Hi, oh wow, hello. I don't want to say your name wrong, so please bear with me and help me if there's a way to show pronunciation, but is it Kanza? I hope I said that right. Welcome to my channel. It's so good to see you here. Hi, Tiffany. Hello. Just came from Joann's. I'm going to try and sew a skirt and a top. It's been about 20 years since I made clothes. Oh my goodness. Wow, good luck. I am not gifted in the garment making. What'd you pick up from Joann's? North Africa. It's nice what you do. Oh, thank you, Kanza. I really hope I'm saying that right. Hello, Tiffany. Good morning. So let's go on to the next one. Since we're kind of in the kids' quilts, let me go through the ones that I've made for them through the years. These were from this year. Okay. I don't know where Zoe's is, but this one is Addington's. So again, each year I try to come up with what represents their interests from this year, and I try to make that into a quilt. And so this year, my son is so into trucks. He calls them vehicles. So he knows his stuff. He loves all of the construction sites. He watches videos all the time. I'm telling you, his room is a construction site. He has a 5-foot crane in there. He probably has about 300 toy trucks. So I knew that this year I had to make it a truck quilt. I showed this in one of my videos. My friend Kelly from Steel City Quilt Co. quilted this one for me, and she put 2 of them together on one back, which was amazing. It blew my mind. I did not know that you could quilt 2 at a time. I don't have a long arm, so don't come for me, but for not knowing that. But yeah, I thought she did a fantastic job. I got this panel in the center here. This is a panel that I got when we were visiting in St. Louis. I went to a local quilt shop nearby my husband's Meemaw's house because I like going to local quilt shops when I'm traveling. I like to see what they have and just kind of support the local businesses when I'm visiting around different places. And then I just did some bordering. I did not pay attention to direction, okay? I know for sure, I know for a fact, my 4-year-old son does not care that some of these trucks are driving up into the sky. I just don't even worry about it when it's for kids. This is a different type of quilting for me. This is mindless, fun, improv. This is not caring too much about, making everything perfect. You know what's perfect? You made a quilt for your kid and they love it and they use it every single night. That's what's perfect. So again, let's talk about these satin strips. When I started out, like I said, I was like, oh, this is great. I'll never have to learn how to make my own binding. I can just skip that all together. So I bought like 20 packs of this. I was like, I didn't even think about the material. So I had like a whole tub full of these satin strips, and I had like rainbow and different colors, and I let the kids pick what color or what strip they wanted for their binding, and they both chose rainbow. So I went with it. I was like, you know what? I want you to be involved in this process because I want to nurture that curiosity. I want to nurture that interest because, you plant a seed and it could grow. And it would be really, really cool to do quilting with my kiddos later on. I used that same panel on a quilt for my grandson, Beth. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. That truck quilt is adorable. My grandsons would love it. Hey, Ashley. Yeah, and on the back, so like I said, I like to pick what they like. Trucks, just trucks on the front, all trucks all day long. And then on the back, there's Paw Patrol. They love Paw Patrol. And so I really wanted a way to incorporate both of their passions into one quilt. So there's trucks on the front and Paw Patrol on the back. Nothing better than that, right? And I wish I could really show, I don't know if the lighting will show, but the pantograph that Kelly did, it's trucks. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe on the panel you can see it a little bit better. But there's trucks, there's a dump truck, there's it's really hard to see, but she did a fantastic job on this. So if you're looking for a long armor, and maybe you're in Kansas, go support my friend. She is such a sweetheart. You cannot be supporting, she's so, so sweet. All right. Oh, there's Zoe's. Okay. So let me tell you how this started out. So originally, I was going to make just one truck quilt. I was going to have this panel be on the front, and then I made this backing. This was originally a backing, okay? This is the quilt top to Zoe's now. I split it up, and I try to make it look like Rhodes. So this fabric, again, all from Joann's. I did gray, and I kind of liked how this kind of looks like a road strip, And then these really cute little fabrics with helicopters and cars and stop signs and traffic cones, all of the fun stuff. So I did that on the front. I was like, you know what? Maybe I could knock out both of the quilts this year and be ahead of time before Zoe's birthday because life gets crazy and I do a lot of quilting, but I really, really want to uphold my goal of making them a quilt every year. So it actually ended up perfect because you know what? Big brother loves trucks and Paw Patrol. So Zoe, Monkey See, Monkey Do, loves trucks and Paw Patrol. So it was perfect. And she also went with the rainbow binding. But yeah, I love it. Littles love Rhodes blankets. Adorable. Thank you guys. Thank you, Melissa. Beth, are you putting tags on the quilts with the kids' names on them? No, I know. I really need to do that. I need to mark what year. I really need to do that, Melissa. I'm terrible at that. The first quilt, I put a little tag that just said love on it. I just get to the point where I'm done and I'm about to put the binding on, and I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to get it and give it to them and see their reaction. But I need to pause. I need to make something to where it stamps that time. All right, on to the next one. This is another kid's quilt. I did this one, so I remember someone in the chat was saying you don't know much about rag quilts. This is a rag quilt. So here is some patchwork in the middle. Again, this is all from Joann. This is all Joann flannel. I wanted it to be like super, super soft for her. And then I did some strip rag quilting on the top. And a really good hint, or I guess hack, if you're making, let's see, rag quilts, you're going to have your seams facing out, right? So, and in my video, my little short, I show what I do to achieve like the rag, like the perfect rag. And I actually learned it online from other quilters. So it's not my hack. I just saw it and I love it. It really does make a difference in the ragging. So once you have your seams, so you are, let's see, sewing right sides. I can't even think of like right sides away from each other, right? Well, your seams are going to be facing on the outside. So you have your open seam. You're going to take a butter knife or any kind of knife, not like a steak knife. I used my IKEA knives because they're like plastic, and I don't want to tear my fabric. I want to rag it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a knife and you're going to like take your seam after you clip it. So you're going to clip your seams, not clipping into the, seam line where you sewed, but clipping the excess fabric. And then you're going to take your knife and you're just going to back and forth. And that is going to rag your quilt. And it is also going to get a lot of those extra threads and things that are going to fall off in your washer and dryer. Rag quilts are rough on your washer and dryer. Things are falling off of that quilt. So if you do the ragging like that beforehand, it kind of, takes that out before you put it into the wash. So, yeah. The ragging looks great, and your washer and dryer will thank you. And then this is the back. So super, super fun. She loves Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and I really liked this floral. So that is what I did. All rag quilt. And the funny thing is, Zoe doesn't even use quilts. She has a blankie that she's used since she was a baby. And I've made her quilts and quilts and quilts, and she just, doesn't. She doesn't care. Love that technical term. Shoosh, shoosh, shoosh. Oh, thank you, Colleen. All right, let's see. What do we want to go to next? Let's do this one. I have some other ones too over there. So this was the first quilt that I made for Austin. Quilt husbands, they need love too. He'd seen me quilt and quilt and quilt, and a lot of client quilts. And I was like, you know what? My husband deserves a quilt. I'm going to make him something. So I kind of took that idea that I have with the kids, and I was like, I'm going to take something that he's really interested in, that he really loves, and I'm going to turn it into a quilt. Hello, Shelia. I love rag quilts. All the ones I've done, the fabric has come from Joann's remnants bin. They've all been washed many times and are well loved. They still look great. Yes, Kim. It doesn't matter where you get your fabric. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're making a quilt and you're doing something that you love, and it's going to hold up. It's going to do just fine. So here's this one. He loves I can't even say it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I've never watched this a day in my life. I have no idea, but he's really into it and he likes pizza. So I found this panel from Walmart and I just put some borders on it. And then like the end border, I thought this was really, really cool because it kind of pulls all of the colors from the panel. Thought that was really fun. And the way I quilted it, I did an all over meander, but I tried to make it kind of look like a turtle shell. Let's see. So there's my quilting. I did all over meander, free motion quilting on my tiny, tiny little brother. And every so often I would stop, back stitch, cut my thread, and then I would change the thread color. So all of the thread in here represents one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So there's like green and red and orange, and it all connects into one line. But I thought that would be really fun. So I had a lot of fun doing a meander on this. This was back in the day. I haven't been doing a lot of free motion quilting. I really wish I would have kept up with it and continued to practice. And then on the back is some patchwork, crazy patchwork. Just a scrappy old collection of Pokemon, SpongeBob, more Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I put some of these in there, the Jungle Book, because our first date, we went and got dinner and we went to see the live action Jungle Book movie, and then we got ice cream. So I thought it'd be really sweet to include Jungle Book in there as like, oh, that was our first date. a lot of Pokemon, some like video game ones. He was honestly upset with me. So I had some other fabrics that, you know, we were in an apartment at the time and I had just this giant bin full of fabric, and it was not organized well, and it was underneath our kitchen table, so I didn't really know what was in it. I would buy things and I would forget about it, but I had Zelda fabric, Mario fabric. I had a lot more that I was going to include into the back of this quilt, and I forgot about it until we moved and we got to this house, and I was like, oh, I have Zelda fabric. Uh-oh. And Austin was like, what? What? So maybe one day I'll make him a Zelda, but this was the quilt that I made for him, the first quilt that I made with him. And then another fun element to it was the binding. So I did a scrappy binding. I've got like orange and purple, yellow. Again, I wanted to pull from the colors of the turtles, so I thought that was really fun too. And Addington has taken ownership of this. He has legit stolen this from Austin. So I took this out of Addington's bed. He loves quilts. So at least one of my kids likes them. Zoe does not like to use them. Let's see. Let's go into these. So these aren't technically quilts, but they're quilted, and I wanted to show you guys. So I watched a lot of Donna Jordan's videos when I was learning, and I wanted to start making placemats and stuff like that for our kitchen table. And so these are the first ones that I made. Obviously, I'm a newbie. I didn't do any quilting in here. No quilting in the center. It took me a long time to actually realize, especially, it was like one time I was reading a batting packaging, and I was like, wait, it says you have to quilt like up to 4 or 8 inches apart. Oh no. And so this shows, this was like right when I started. I did no quilting in the center. So if I wash these and dry these, they're going to ball up in the center possibly and become a huge mess. So these were the first ones that I made. Well, that one doesn't have quilting. I guess I tried to do some free motion quilting on these. And then this one doesn't have it either. So that's funny. But I thought I would bring these down, and look how like puffy they are. I thought I would come down and show you guys these after many, many years of making placemats. This is what I've finally gotten to, like the level of flatness and the quilting and just like how neat and tidy it is. These are my Christmas placemats that I've made for our house, and I have some napkins as well. But look at those little snowmen. They're so cute. And as you know, if you've been in my channel for a while, I love metallic. So these little candy canes have beautiful metallics on them. So I have a set of these upstairs for when it's Christmas. I've made a ton of these. So if you're interested in learning how to make those, I really recommend you checking out Donna Jordan's page. I know a lot of you already watched that, but if you're looking for the video in specific, it's the placemat video. Easy math, easy quilting, easy putting together. You can add quilting now if you want, Beth. I sure can. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you. So those are the placemats. All right, let's go to this one. We're almost to the end, and I'll show you some pictures from my quilt gallery. So this was the first quilt that I made for myself. I was watching a ton of Angela Walters. I was watching a lot of the Midnight Quilter series. I absolutely loved it. So that's kind of what inspired this. She had a certain pattern. It was like the Starburst quilt or something. And so I tried to kind of go off of that. And I really liked at the time yellow and black and gray. And so I just did a ton of half square triangles. I don't even think at the time I knew to trim them. I just, put them together, and it actually worked out okay because the points look pretty good. So this was the first one. They've got little birds in there. I'm a sucker for birds. I love them. I'm a bird nerd. So birds and florals and daisies. And then I found this really cool like coral tie-dye mineral-y fabric that I really liked. So I was like, I'll put that on a border. So there's that. And then the back, whoa, color palette change. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, we'll have yellow, black, and gray on the front, and let's do pink and blue and this like creamy fabric with the birds. I'll do that on the back. So this is the back, just a nice little patchwork. And then I also did free motion quilting on this on my machine. So let's see. Let me get close because these are actually decent swirls. So you can see, let's see, maybe I can find like it's all wrinkly now, but you can see some swirls there. So I did all of that on my domestic machine. And this was years ago. Again, I really wish I would have continued practicing free motion quilting on my machine because who knows? Maybe I would have been kind of good at this by this point of quilting if I would have continued that skill. Okay, we're on to another quilt. I feel like DJ Khaled. And another one. So this one is my husband's. I made it for him for the hospital. Again, I love this style of quilting. It's a good way for me to make quilts for my family in the time that I have, because a lot of the times I'm juggling between figuring out, okay, I need to get this commission done by this deadline. I need to do this, and this. But you know what? I also want to make quilts for my loved ones to, snuggle with at home. So it might not be complex, but again, it goes together fast. And at the end of the day, I get a quilt. And so this is Pokemon. He loves Pokemon. And I put some borders on it to make it just right. Look at the little Pikachu. So cute. And I did my black binding to border it up real nicely. This was quilted from a local long armer. It was not Kelly. At the time, she did not have a long arm. So I was getting long arming done by a very, very sweet person in town. Her name is Nancy Troyer. So if you're interested in looking her up, she has an Instagram. She does amazing work. And she does a lot of things with featherweights as well. So I think at Casey Makers or a local, it might be Prairie Point, but in a local quilt shop, she's going to be doing a featherweight class. So if you're interested at all in featherweights, I know that's like all of the rage lately. Go check out Nancy Troyer on Instagram. But she quilted this, and then on the back, more Pokemon. And this is kind of like a cheater panel. So it was like super, super easy. I'm like, this is great. This is great. I think I was like, I'm not even kidding, guys. I was about like three days away from having a baby. 3 days away from having Louise. And I was like, I need to make Austin a quilt for the hospital so he has something to cuddle up with. And Nancy was a gem. She quilted this just in time. I think I got this like a day after I gave it to her. She quilted it just in time so that we would have it for the hospital. It was really, really sweet. But this is his Pokemon quilt, and he uses this one all the time. Addington has not stolen this one from him just yet. Let me show you the panto once I get it folded a little bit. I picked this panto because it kind of reminds me of Pokemon, like a Pokeball. Like, how perfect is that? That literally looks just like a Pokeball. So I thought this was a really fun panto for the quilt. It just like really fit the theme well, and he loves it. So that's his quilt for the hospital. Again, all Joanne fabric, guys. And they're holding up just well, just fine. Here is my quilt that I made for the hospital. I was like a week out from having a baby, super pregnant, and I was like, wait, I could send this to the long arm and not have to get on my hands and knees and baste a giant quilt. So it ended up being perfect for me. I think I did like 20 quilts throughout my pregnancy. I was quilting all the way up to the very end before having Louise. But here this is. This is a mix of Joanne fabric and some fabric that I found from a different shop online. I wish I knew the name on the top of my head. Maybe I'll pop it in the description once I find it, and I'll put her link on there so that you can give her some love. And then this fabric is from Etsy. I thought it was super, super cute. Again, I love birds, so I was like, oh, this is so pretty. There's like really pretty colors in here. There's some pinks, there's some blues, and that yellow. And then it paired really nicely with the fabric that I purchased from that one shop that I can't think of the name of. Bye, Ellen. See you later. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping in. So that's the back. And then, again, just a simple strip quilt that I did some like symmetry from the middle and going out, and they're super, super fast. It builds really quickly. You can get like, you know, however tall you want it to be really, really fast. And I like that because I'm spending a lot of time on everybody else's quilts. I don't have time to get crazy with my own, especially when I'm days away from having a baby. So we used these in the hospital and it was fantastic. Let's see. Some of these, if you have been following along, you already know. I will show these off though anyway. This is the Moon Medallion quilt. It's beautiful. It's all Allison glass. So, like I said, I have nothing against Joanne, but I did start getting into designer fabric just because it's pretty, right? I like pretty fabric. I feel like if it's pretty, I like it. I don't necessarily care where it came from or who it's by. I just like pretty fabric. That's all that matters. And if it sews well together, then that's good. So this was all Allison glass. This is a pattern from my friend Heather. You see us go live all the time. Her handle on Instagram is called Creating Quilts, and she made this pattern. It was pretty funny because she messaged me one day and she was like, "Hey, pattern junkie, do you want to test this for me?" And I'm like, yes, I do, because I like patterns, and so it's been really cool. I'm a pattern tester. I do a lot of FPP pattern testing for a lot of different designers, and then I do a lot of traditional testing for my friend because I haven't really gone into testing traditional as much. I am really into paper piecing, as you can tell. I love it. So this was a good way for me to kind of brush up on my skills with traditional piecing. I was rusty, so rusty, and I didn't even know it until I started this. So thank you, Heather, for forcing me to keep practicing while I'm, you know, in paper piecing land. It's really nice to come back and, you know, work on my skills for this kind of stuff. And then on the back, this beautiful, beautiful green. I love green, and with the pink binding, it kind of reminds me of a watermelon, so I thought it was super cute. The quilting is done by my friend Kelly at Steel City Quilt Co. She is so, so good at what she does. She picked the density, she picked, you know, the pattern, the thread color. She knows what she's doing, and she definitely knows what she's doing because there's a lot of bunching on this quilt. The back of my seams were not pretty perfect. I don't trim my threads. I try to iron them down into submission before I send them to a long arm, just to make it easier for them. But by no means was this quilt top perfect when I sent it to her. And guess what? She made it even better than it was. And she worked with my fudge. So there you go. Another beautiful quilt. I love this one. It took me a few weeks to finally decide to wash it. Although I love the quilt crinkle, don't get me wrong. There's also something to be said about a quilt that you just finished and it's all, you know, crisp and pristine and there's no wrinkles on it. There's something to be said about that stage as well. So although I love the quilt crinkle, sometimes it takes me a while to wash, to commit to washing the quilt when I'm done. Are any of you guys like that? Let me know. Thank you, Austin. Yay! Okay. And here's another one. I know I recently did this one as well, so you guys know about it, but the color wheel quilt. How could I not show this in my trunk show? It's freaking beautiful. This is all done with Libs Elliott fabric. Bam! Look at these colors. They're like right in your face. This is Phosphor, so all of the solid fabrics are from her Phosphor line. And then this really cool, like paint splattered white fabric is Beguiled. So that's from her Beguiled line. It's really, really pretty. This pattern is from Quarter Life Leap. I tested this for her, and it's all FPP, y'all. It is all FPP, my kind of quilt. And this was probably the largest scale of FPP I had done. I've done a lot of wall hangings and a lot of stuff like that, but I've never done like a fully pieced FPP quilt, let alone a circle quilt. This is like insane. It's 64 inches in diameter, so it's like a really good size. And let me be honest with you, like I just said, I haven't washed it yet. I sit it really nice and pretty on my chair, and I just let it sit there. I haven't washed it yet, guys. I haven't. I can't do it. No, I wash all my quilts when I'm done. Oh man, yeah. I wash them before I use them. So sometimes I'll just let them sit there and I'll like admire it and I'll be like, wow, I did that. That's so pretty. And then by the time I'm ready to cuddle up with it, I'll just go pop it in the wash because I will not use it. How do you wash your quilts? Do they go in the dryer? Yes, they do. So I put my quilts, if it's like the first or second time that I've washed it, I will put it in the wash with some color catchers and then I will set it to cold, like cold water, and I'll do like a gentle cycle and then I'll put it into the dryer, take my color catchers out, and then do like a very, very low heat dry, a very gentle dry. Austin's in the chat going, color catchers! Yes. And when I do commission quilts and quilts for clients, I will also include in my packaging with my card and my business card, I will put in color catchers for my customers because I like them to wash it for the first time. I feel like there's something magical about watching that quilt crinkle happen, and I want them to be there for that. I want them to experience it. So I give them a handful of color catchers when I release the quilts to them, and I think that's a really good tip if you are doing commission quilts or quilts for people, include those color catchers. It's a small way to kind of just give them a little bit extra. I missed it. Was Heather's IG the one Beth has done lives with Heather? Yes, it is creating quilts. Heather. I never wash them. Is that wrong? I wash after they are used and need washing, but never wash ones that I make for people. No, not wrong. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different preference for that. My friend Heather, when she makes quilts for people, she'll wash them before. I do not wash them before. Everyone's different. There's no right or wrong here. We are not the quilt police, guys. I wash them like I wash my clothes and then dry in the dryer. Yep, yeah, whatever works. As long as you've got the quilting done properly, it should not fall apart. But I just like to be gentle on them a little bit with like the cold water and the gentle heat or low heat. I just like to be gentle with them because I do want them to just last a little bit longer. Thank you. I added her to my cheat sheet. Yes, Colleen. Awesome. So yes, this is the quilt. My friend Kelly also long-armed this beauty. She did a fantastic job. Look at what she had to navigate around, guys. Look at what she was working with. This center point, sorry, this mirrored thing is just not working out for me. But this centered point here, oh my goodness. That's bulky. All of my FPP parts meet in this center. And so, like what Christy was talking about the other night, how she uses curves to kind of avoid this. This is what I was really worried about when I sent it to her. I was like, this is gonna break her long arm, and she's never gonna like want to talk to me again. But she navigated this just perfectly. Look at how she went around there and just totally avoided having to stitch right in that center. Genius. Good job, Kelly. I love you. You did another great quilt for me. And then on the back, it's beguiled. I love it. Another cool part of this quilt is since it's a lighter back compared to the front, if I'm like laying underneath it, and that goes for this one as well, when I'm laying underneath it, I can see through it and it looks like stained glass. So that's really fun. And then the binding is Moda Grunge. I purchased this from Kelly's shop. So she doesn't just have a long arm, folks. She has a full-on shop. You can check her site out at steelcityquiltco.com. She's got fabric. She's got a ton of out-of-print fabric. So if you're an Alexander Henry fan, she's got a lot of Tula Pink fabric that's out of print. If you're into that, go check her out. Give her some love. She's just a beautiful person. Thank you, Marie. Not as awesome as your cheat sheets. Oh, that's awesome. I wash quilts before I give them away because if they fall apart, I want to be able to fix them. That is a great, great way to look at it, Teresa. Yes to that. That is definitely a concern. But I always tell them, like, if there's any problems at all, just message me and, I can definitely fix anything that goes awry if anything does. Let's see. Do I have any more quilts? Do I have any? I don't see any more. So I have my quilt album pulled up. These are, oh my goodness. Guys. Oh, look at these quilts. Oh my goodness. Let's put them over here. Whoa. I could show you my quilt wall, but I figured you guys would want to see like actual quilts and not just like all my wall hangings. Like you see my wall hangings back here. That spool thread wall hanging was done by my friend Kelly. And then that heart was done by me from a Dazzling Quilts pattern that I tested. No, I don't think it was a test. I think it was like a sew along. Yes, there's so many, so many. I have purchased out of print Tula from Steel City. Great service. Thank you, Christine, for your support. She loves it. She gets so excited with every order. She's done a fantastic job with her business, and she has a passion behind it. It's a passion project. So, yep, my kids are going to be yelling. Let's go really quickly through my quilt album on Facebook. This is just going to show the quilts that I don't have right here. These are quilts that I've worked on and given away, or someone's bought them. So let's go on over. Let me do some screen sharing. There we go. Okay, great. Here we go. Yep, this is my Facebook, y'all. Those are my beautiful little kiddos. Let's just start, and I'll just do a really, really quick drive-by. I'm not going to take much more of your time. So this was a Toy Story quilt that I made for my friend. For her kiddo, I made quilts for all of Addington's little friends. So that was the Toy Story one. Her son really liked Toy Story, so I just did like a random log cabin piecing-ish craziness. And then I tried some crazy blocks. I was not a fan. It was very wasteful, I found, and I did not like wasting fabric and having scraps everywhere, which is funny because I like FPP now, and that's pretty much just sums up FPP as a whole. That is the backing to that Toy Story quilt. COVID had just hit and I could not find any more Toy Story fabric, so I had to make do, and I knew that her son really liked Coco as well, so that's another Disney movie. Here is a little baby quilt that I made. You can see Zoe down in the right hand corner making a crazy like roaring face, but this was a fun quilt that I made for my kiddo's daughter, or my kiddo's friend, so my friend's daughter. It's got little piggies on there. There's a cute little label that I put on there from Joanne. There's the backing. This was beautiful fabric. I still have this fabric. Then I made another version very close to that with a different backing. There is that quilt that I showed you. It kind of shows the quilting off a little bit more. All of the swirls that I did on the back of it. So that's the back of that one. There's the front. Here's some free motion quilting that I did on some memory quilts that my mother-in-law pieced and sent my way to finish up for my son, and my husband also has one. So there's some free motion quilting that I did on that. I was really into Angela Walters. I still am, so I was just trying my hardest. Here's a cute little farm quilt that I made. I gifted one of these recently to our neighbor behind us. They had a baby last year, and I had pieced extra pieces of this. Here is another quilt. This is the back of a quilt that I did some free motion quilting on. You can see some paisleys in the center, and then I did some straight line quilting. There's the front of that. I made this pattern. I just improv'd. I tried to write this pattern later on to see if anyone would want to make it. So let me know if you like this pattern. I will try and write up a pattern for free and you guys can have it. It's like a little chevron heart pattern. So fun. There's a fun quilt I did. I'm actually thinking of binding that turquoise top because I never turned it into a quilt and putting it on my cutie frame and practicing. Some more of that daisy heart quilt. There's a picture of Zoe with the quilt that I showed you earlier, the Melanie Ham inspired log cabin that I did. More Toy Story. There's Addington's quilt. There's a sloth quilt that I did. This was like early on, y'all. I was a newbie. So there's some video of some of the wavy line quilting that I did. I do have a wavy line quilting video if you're interested in that technique. It's very easy. There's Austin's quilt, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the scrappy back. There's your Curious George quilt and Zoe. I did some princess like panel quilts with the wavy line quilting again. And that's like how I wrap them up. She also wanted some like DC and Marvel added onto there. And I just did the simple strip backing to that. I mentioned that in a lot of my quilts that I showed you. And here is a quilt that I did for my dad. So he was in the Navy and we lived in Hawaii. And so I was like, you know what? I want to make him a patriotic pineapple quilt. And so I did all of the math by myself. This is my own little thing going on here, my own math, my own pattern. And I did some sashing and I gave it to him at the Garden of the Gods. I surprised him on our family trip at that little area and I said, hey, Dad, I've got something for you. And he was just ecstatic. And the funny thing is, guys, y'all that are dogging on Joanne sometimes, everyone in the chat pretty much has agreed that Joanne is fine. This backing is actually Alexander Henry, and I did not know it. That's Alexander Henry, and you know where I bought it? Joanne, and I got it on sale. So I didn't even know that they sold that there. So that was pretty cool. Here's a fall quilt that I did for my mom. Very simple. Again, I did more like intricate quilting. I followed the plaid lines of the back. So here is one of my favorite ones I've ever done. Like this is the video of me giving the quilt to my dad at Garden of the Gods. Kind of cool to look back on. He was so happy. Yeah, so there's that one. There's a Christmas quilt that I made for a customer. Still one of my favorite ones that I've ever done. I love how they look like little presents. And then I did like a metallic fabric for a border. There's another farm quilt. Here's a Beatles quilt that I did for a customer. I made it super, super fun and like retro. Here's a Minnie Mouse quilt that I did. I did some free motion quilting on. Some more placemats. An office quilt. There's that Christmas quilt all tied up and pretty. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so pretty. This one was really hard to let go of. I was like, that's so pretty. Here are some of the little ornaments that I made. So this year that I made these, I used the scraps from all of my family members' quilts that I made them that year, and I made them matching ornaments to go along with their quilts. So those were really, really fun. I used the tutorial from Mr. Domestic, I believe. I think he's got a tutorial on it. I think that's who I watched, and he taught me how to do that. I think there's Scandinavian, Scandinavian stars or something. Here's a panel quilt I made for my father-in-law and a panel quilt that I made for my mother-in-law. There's my first t-shirt quilt right here, Go KU. There's the Beatles stuff, Curious George. I did a volleyball quilt for a coach in town. And then this is a customer's photo. I did a quilted table top and some placemats. She wanted this to be this size. She wanted enough of her table going around all the end. And this was the first time I used designer fabric. This collection was Kansas Troubles, and she ordered it, picked it out. And the first time I sewed with this fabric, y'all, I'm telling you, I put it under my machine and I started sewing. I'm like, oh my goodness. This is not fabric. This is butter. This is just pure butter. And so that's when the curiosity of designer fabric, I think, officially started. I was like, you know what? Maybe there is something to this fabric thing. So I tried it out. Here are some baskets that I made. I believe these were Melanie Ham's pattern as well. I'm pretty sure. It was pretty cool because I shared this on my Instagram and she shared it on her story, which was really fun. Here are a close-up of the tablecloth placemats. I did a lot of straight line quilting on there. It took forever, but I thought it'd be beautiful. Look at that! Kansas Troubles is beautiful. I feel like it gets some hate because it is muddy colors. It's definitely a specific aesthetic. It's not everybody's thing, but I think it's gorgeous. When I was done piecing this, I was like, wait, I kind of want to make one for myself too because it's so pretty. This one was a tapestry that someone nearby, it was actually my friends from high school's mom. She messaged me because she knew I did quilting and she wanted to take her daughter's tapestry off her wall and turn it into a quilt. So all I did was baste it and do some wavy line quilting for it. But that was a really fun project. Here are some memory quilts that I've done with like jeans and shirts. Some baskets that I've done. I did like one year, I did like 30 of these. I had a lot of people order Easter baskets for their kiddos. It was a lot of fun. Here's a Chiefs one that I made.
Super fun. More memory quilts, more Easter baskets, Easter baskets, Easter baskets. There were so many Easter baskets. More of those baskets. Another table runner that I made for a family member. There it is there. Just simple. It doesn't have to be super intricate, guys. And I think sometimes, simplicity can be beautiful. This was a baby quilt that I made. There's my sewing space and its premature phase. It's changed a lot since then. There's my packaging. I've got my own stickers and my stamps. I wrap them up all together real nicely. This was a graduation quilt that someone bought for their daughter, just a t-shirt quilt with all of her soccer shirts. This was a memory quilt that I did for a customer. This was his wife's shirts. She was part of this organization like her whole life, and so I made a quilt with all those shirts. Here's the back of a Beatles quilt that I made with a tumbler template, just a scrappy tumbler quilt. I really loved making it. And the fun thing about this quilt was I followed the seams, like the shape of the tumbler going all the way down, and I just like traced that line on the back, and it kind of looks like little lava lamps on the back. Look at that. That's so fun, and it was really easy to do. So yeah, I had a lot of fun quilting that. Here's a cross quilt. This was the first cross quilt. I made this one for my grandmother. My mom ordered it for her for like a Mother's Day present. And it was really popular. I've made like 4 of these. This is a pattern, I think, from Quilt Fox on Etsy. It's a log cabin one. And look at that backing, that Asian-inspired metallic beauty of fabric. This is the quilt with the sunflower organization, the backing all with sunflowers, super fun. There's the front of it. I used yellow binding to make it pop, because why not? There's that one quilt. I used Minky on the back of this for the first time, and Minky is no joke, y'all. It sheds. It sheds so bad, and I had heard it, and I still went ahead and was shocked with how much it did shed. Here's that cross quilt finished up. I did the quilting on it. I marked my lines going from the center points of that log cabin L on all 4 sides. Marked it with a chalk liner and quilted straight lines to make it look like it was just like sun hitting right from behind the cross. And there's the backing. Beautiful backing. This was all Joann fabric again. Joann fabric, y'all. It's not that bad. Here are some bibs that I made. They're called bib aprons. You can find a pattern for these on Etsy. I made a ton of them just using some fat quarters from Joann. Here's a stitch wreath that I've done. I've made a ton of these for Mother's Day presents this year or last year. I did like patriotic ones. This is the one that hangs on our door. Super pretty. There's the one that I showed you. Here's a hard rock quilt. So the Sunflower Organization client, his name's Steve. So after I made that quilt, he was like, hey, I have a ton of Hard Rock Cafe shirts that me and my wife collected throughout the years. Could you make a quilt out of that? And I'm like, of course I could. And it was really cool because, as you can see, Cancun, Cozumel, Memphis, London, Boston, they went everywhere. And it was just a really cool quilt to be part of. And then, of course, I had to do guitars on the back. Trying to make this quick. I hope I'm not boring anybody. Here's the Pokemon quilt, a better view of that, and the quilting that Nancy did on there. Rag quilt. Here's like when I first started getting into FPP, I did a butterfly pattern by Tartan and Kiwi. Here is my this is a free pattern from Fat Quarter Shop. So I think it's Old Glory. I made 2 of those recently. There was my first FPP, Quiet Play, and I still cannot believe I interviewed her the other night and I got to talk to her, and she was so sweet. So sweet. And here is like the behind the scenes making that sewing machine cover. I'm just going to keep clicking through so I'm not rambling. Okay, I have to stop on this one. So I made this quilt for my mother-in-law. I altered the pattern, and you know what? This quilt is a lesson in adapting. Quilting is so much of adapting. When you have a plan going in and you have to completely change it. So the side borders of that like metallic, it's like a cream. those are really, really shiny. I did not originally want those, but that fabric was gone, gonzo. I could not buy any more of the fabric that I needed, so I had to adapt. I had to change plans. I did these fun little cornerstones, and this was also quilted by Nancy in town. And look at that panto, guys. It's so pretty. So, yeah, I was bummed that my original plan wasn't working out, but you have to keep going. You have to keep going. There's my flag quilts, some test projects I did for Cranky Kangaroo, another cross quilt. I did some of these. I tested these for a pattern designer, and they were super cute. I made like a normal Christmas one and then a Hawaiian one because I used to live in Hawaii. I thought it'd be fun to make a little tropical Santa gnome. Another cross quilt. They were really popular. There's my Yoda. I was really proud. I am very proud of that Yoda. That Yoda has over like 100 something pieces to it. That took a lot of time. And I was to the point where if I mess this up, if I mess one piece up, I'm throwing it all away. I'm not going to do it. Some Chiefs quilts. I hope I'm not going too fast, but also not too slow. There's a Chiefs quilt that I made. Just like some improv. All Joanne fabric. I did a mixture of like straight line quilting and wavy line quilting on it. It was a lot of fun. There's my mom and Zoe cuddled up with the rag quilt that I made my mom. Another memory quilt. A fun, this was for project quilt. It was like a thing that everyone would make a project and then there was like a giveaway, and each week it was a different theme. So if you haven't looked into project quilting, go check it out. It was a lot of fun to participate in, and I think they do it every year. So I made a cactus. The challenge was silhouette. So I did a silhouette of this cactus and I did some like zigzag stitching around it. So it's kind of cool how it looks like little thorns shining, like the silhouette of those behind the sun or in front of the sun. But I was pretty proud of this, and I sent it to my grandmother who lives in Arizona. And I did some of that for the sky, that quilting. And this was applique. I did some applique, y'all, and it wasn't that bad. Another memory quilt. Some videos. We don't have to watch the videos. Another test for Cranky Kangaroo. This was traditional pieced test. There's Melanie's quilt that I did again, and this is how it's styled in Zoe's room, like on her chair with a little yellow pillow. Some more bibs, and another shot of Cranky Kangaroo's blocks. This is Dazzling Quilts. This is the one you see behind me. This was really fun to make. It's FPP, and I love how it looks like a little gem. I was really, really proud of it, as you could tell. I had a lot of fun with it. Here's Snuggle Puzzle. You guys have seen these on my videos. She makes beautiful, beautiful patterns. This was when I was starting out on Moon Medallion Quilt. I had all my blocks on my table, and bam! There it is. Before quilting, before basting any of it, beautiful. Those colors. Come on, Allison Glass. Like, you are doing a great job. Here's a duck. This was a test for paper and pieced, and it was very intricate. That head area had a ton of little pieces, and if you're into FPP and you have something that intricate with a lot of detailing, I recommend, I know you probably already have to add a quarter, look into getting the add an eighth, because it'll make your seams a little less bulky, especially when there's a lot of little piecing in there. Here's me putting on the binding to my Moon Medallion quilt. That's the sunflower that we mentioned in the interview with Quiet Play. So you can go check that out on her website as a freebie, and it's just encouraged, even if you donate $1 or something to Ukraine. That's what she made this pattern for, but it was really, really fun to make. Teresa, if you're still watching, this is the one I want to teach you how to do. This is definitely beginner friendly. I know you could do it. So let me know when you're ready to get together to do some FPP. I'm excited. Part of my color wheel quilt and like how it started coming along. Look at that color. Libs Elliott does color well as well. She does a really good job. This is my first time using Libs Elliott fabric, and I was blown away. So I went outside. I tried to get like artsy quilt photos, because most of the time I just go out front and you see like my trash can and like random houses in the background. So I tried to go the extra mile for this absolutely stunning quilt. and I'm really glad that I did. Another snuggle puzzle quilt. And this is the one that I recently finished up. I have not quilted it or basted it yet, but it's another pattern from our friend Heather. She is a quilt pattern writing genius, and so this one was really, really fun. I used Ruby Star fabric. Here's the start of my graphic jam quilt. It'll be the second quilt that is completely FPP. This is from Sassafras Lane, and it's a really fun one. I'm using all Tula Pink on it, and me and Heather will be going live every month on the last Friday of each month, and we will be working on a block for the block of the month. So this is what we did together on our live. Another snuggle puzzle pattern, and I think maybe that's it. We've gotten to the end. For some reason I felt like there was more, but maybe I'm really bad at photographing everything sometimes. So let's go back on over here. Wow, you guys are still here. I was afraid that I was going to come back over to the screen and like you guys would all leave, because I don't know if you guys enjoy this stuff. Let me know. Did you enjoy this? Do you like trunk shows? I thought it'd be fun because I did have a viewer say, hey, it'd be kind of cool if you did a trunk show and showed us all the things that you've done. And so there you go. Let me read through the chats. Lunch is just gearing up upstairs, so I'm going to read through the chats and see if I missed anything, and then I'm going to head on out. And maybe tonight I'll do some sewing. I have a quilt loaded on my cutie frame, and I know a lot of you guys are interested in that as well. So if you want to tune in on my cutie frame journey, pop a comment down below and let me know, because I just want to make what you guys want to see. I have fun making everything, but I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying it as well. So I'm going to just go up a little bit and see if there was anything. I love that color wheel, despite you staying on a chair to do it. Yes, Melissa. I have had a really good streak of not standing on chairs lately. You should be proud of me. Oh, you crack me up. My favorite part of a quilt is pulling it out of the dryer after it's done. Yes, that feels pretty darn good. And then I would say take it a step further. You take it out of the dryer and you lay it all, you just like wrap up in it. I walk around the house with blankets or quilts just wrapped around me like I don't even know, like a nice cape or something. Ooh, Kim. She says, I wash fabrics before I use them, then the quilt before it's used. We've got a pre-washer. You guys can do whatever you want. I think it's really cool to listen to what other people do. My mother-in-law is a pre-washer, so when she taught me and when she showed me making my son's quilt, she pre-washed all the fabric. She's like, you need to pre-wash the fabric. And I was like, there's gotta be another way. Like, there's gotta be another way. I do not like this. And I do not like ironing. So I think if I liked ironing more, maybe. And also just like, I want to get in there. I buy the fabric. I just want to start cutting it and putting it together. So I am not a pre-washer, but you do you. You can do whatever you want. And I'm sure your quilts are gorgeous. Let's see. You're all Austin's in the chat. Here's an interesting one. Someone told me you should use laundry soap like Dreft. I wasn't sure to put them in the dryer or not. I put them in the thing about Dreft, is that the baby detergent? I'm pretty sure that's the baby detergent. And the funny thing is, and I only know this because I have small children. I have 3 babies, and starting out, we got the Dreft because it's geared towards babies. I'm pretty sure, or maybe it's not. What am I thinking of? Maybe before I get crazy, some of them are pretty toxic. So we use Free and Clear because it's like very, it's good for sensitive skin. I have very sensitive skin and my kids do too. So we get the Free and Clear. And I think that could be, a little more gentle on the quilts as well, if it's gentle on your skin. Let's see. Oh, Tiffany headed out for a call. I love the spools. Did she make her own pattern? Is it for sale? I think you're talking about this while hanging up here. I will hunt down the link. She did share it with me previously because a lot of people have asked about it. It's a super cute pattern, but she bought it as a kit. And the thing about it is I don't think you can buy the pattern outside of the kit. And the kit's like $50. So I'll look into that. some more and see if there's that pattern somewhere. I love it. It's so pretty. She did a great job. And if I can't find that exact pattern separate from the kit, I'll just find some similar ones to share with you guys. Oh, Kim, thank you. Beth, you have an amazing collection of quilts. They're beautiful and you're doing a great job. Thank you. That is very sweet. Ah, oh, thank you. Oh, yes, this is huge. Christine says, Heather at Creating Quilts put a reel on IG of a school kit she's going to be doing, right up your alley. Yes, it's so cool. I've never done a legit kits pattern before. I've applied to test, but the thing is with legit kits, they're very popular because they make great patterns. And so the way they pick their testers is they pool them all up and then they put them in like this random generator. And so my chances are like 1 out of however many. But it was a dream of mine to be a legit kids tester. It just hasn't ever worked out. So I am living vicariously right now through Heather's experience because I think it's very interesting. I know it's a very intimidating thing to open up because there's a lot of pieces, there's a lot of fabric. You have to keep it organized to make it work out. So I'm watching her like a hawk. Every time I'm like, hey, how's your quilt coming along? Did you open it up? And so it's been really cool for her to share that process with us. I'm looking forward to watching some more of that process. Yes, this is huge. Thank you, Austin. Kelly from Steel City Quilt Co. gets 99, if not 100% of orders in the mail the same day you order it. She knows we don't like to wait. This is huge, guys, because oh my gosh, she is so good at this. She takes care of her customers. And you know, that's special. You want to support people that actually care. She really cares enough to head on over to the post office. She's got a life outside of this business. She's got a full-time job. She's got 3 kiddos, a husband, a house, other responsibilities, but you know what? Her customers and her customer service is a priority, and you can see that in the way she runs her shop. So thank you for pointing that out, Austin. Let's see. I love your chevron heart pattern. Thank you, Kathy. Maybe one day I'll make a pattern for it. If anyone's interested, it'll just be a free thing. It's just a lot of half square triangles. Again, I improv'd it. I just started and I was like, huh, this could be cool. Thank you, Colleen. That's so sweet. How many quilts have you made, Beth? Question mark. Let's see. Did I even bring my phone down here? I have a list, and of course I left my phone upstairs. I have a list going. If it doesn't include like quilted baskets or quilted placemats or tablecloths and stuff, I would say I've made an upwards of like, I mean, I'm past 100. I think I'm sitting at like 100, like 20-ish. I will double check my notes because I am really bad about taking a photo of every single quilt. I've gotten better at it since I've started my Instagram and, you know, social media and stuff because I want to share and get my work out there. But before then, I never thought to take a picture of it. My mother-in-law, she has a whole binder and she quilted when her boys were young and she did a lot of hand quilting. She would bring her hoop out to their baseball games and do quilting. But she has a binder full of pictures of every single quilt that she's made and all of the, you know, math and patterns so that if she ever wanted to make it again or share it with somebody, she could. And I think that's really cool. That's what motivated me to get an Instagram to have kind of a digital, thank you. Do you want to say hi? A digital portfolio. So Austin brought my phone. Thank you. Let's see. I have a list. I have a list of my quilts, so let's look into that. Somewhere in here. Okay. Oh, I'm like the worst at keeping things organized over here, so I know it's in my notes. Let's see. There we go. 2020 quilts. Okay, so I have a list. So every time I finish a quilt, so I have 2020, everything I write down. So in 2020, I made 27 quilts. 2021, I made 48. 2022. So far this year, I've made 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to count wall hangings. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At least 11. And this is what I've documented. So I think I've made more and I just haven't shared, haven't put it on there yet because I forget to. I get too excited. Oh, this would be great, Colleen. I love the cross quilt. I want one. Colleen, it's a beautiful pattern. I can send you the link or put it in my description if you're interested. It's a really, really good pattern, and it comes together quickly. Beth, I need to share my tips for using Minky. I didn't have hardly any shedding. Please do, Colleen. That would be amazing. I did see someone, it was on Instagram, and they were working with Minky, and they put down tape first. They taped the back to their cutting mat, and then they cut on the inside of the tape, and then when they were done they just lifted the tape, and that like took all of the shedding, and that was genius to me. I was like, that's amazing. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Donna. That's amazing. Thank you. Oh man, let's see. Wow, you've probably answered this 1,000 times, but how long have you been quilting, Beth? You have such a repertoire. Absolutely impressive. So, Marie, I feel like it's not been that long compared to a lot of the greats on here. I got my first sewing machine by my husband. He gifted it for Christmas in 2019 before the pandemic hit. And so technically I'm not a COVID quilter, but kinda, because I had my sewing machine and I was just getting into doing fabric, like looking at fabric and picking stuff out, knowing what yardage was, knowing what measurements were what, all of this stuff. It was a lot being thrown out my way. And then the pandemic happened, and so I had even more time to kind of focus and like learn the craft because we were all at home. We were bored. We were tired of being around each other. So I haven't been quilting for that long. It's going on 3 years. I don't know. Time is bad. Yeah, 3 years, I think. Send me the pattern. Okay, I will put the pattern together. It's a great, great quilt. And it's really sad because that was the first quilt I made for that client. I have made quilts for almost everyone in her family. This one that I'm working on right now is for her granddaughter. She just got diagnosed with leukemia, so I am trying to make it as special as I can. I did some FPP for her name, and so that family has just been going through a lot. So if you want to like put out a prayer for her family right now, that would be amazing. Her mother just passed away as well, very close to the diagnosis of her granddaughter. So they've been just going through so much, and it makes me very sad. And so that quilt that I showed you with the chevron heart was for her mom. And so her mom recently passed, and yeah, so just send out some prayers, please. That family is a very sweet family, and it just breaks my heart that they're going through this. Thank you, Colleen. There she is. I love trunk shows. Very inspiring. Thank you, Vicki. Thank you. Thank you, Kathy. You guys are so sweet. Thank you, Shelia. I hope I'm saying your name right. Marie, thank you. Christine, you're awesome. Kim, thank you. Good, stay off chairs. Melissa, I'll stay off chairs. Sandra, Beth, you have made so many memories for your family made with love. Thank you, Sandra. Very pretty quilts. Thank you, Vicki. Tiffany's back. Hey, Tiffany, what's up? I flooded your messages the other day with pictures of my view of the sky. I saw another double rainbow last night and a lightning show, so I had to send it to Tiffany. I tried pre-wash. I had a mess. So many strings and a knot. Yes, it just drives me crazy. So I am not a pre-washer, but you know what? Anyone is free to do what they want, and I think that we all make beautiful quilts whether we pre-wash or not. I just don't. And my mother-in-law pre-washes. She's a religious pre-washer. And the fact that I don't pre-wash, she is like, oh, what? You're not pre-washing your fabric? Nope. I kind of have to pre-wash. The sizing makes my hands break out in hives and blisters. Easier to not have to deal with that. Oh my gosh, Kim, that's awful. Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. Wow, I'm so sorry that you have to deal with that. Teresa says, I'm a free and clear washer too. Yes, detergent buddies. This is a great one. I always zigzag yardage raw edges before I pre-wash, if I pre-wash. That is a great tip. Thank you for sharing, Colleen. That's amazing. That's a really good tip. That's a must, Colleen. Otherwise, a hot, stringy mess. Ask me how I know. Now I just best press everything first. Best press for the win. I love best press. That is, if I'm spraying anything on my fabric, that's what it is. Lavender scented best press. That's a cool way to document that. Thank you, Colleen. Hello, Maddie. Hello. Thank you, Marie. You're so sweet. Let's see what Colleen has to say. Minky cuddle, it's tedious. Sticky solvy on raw edge when you sew. Cutting, X-Acto knife, cut on wrong side. Ooh. Yes, let me grab that real quick for you, Colleen. Would you drop the cross pattern and the details underneath so everyone can see it, please? I definitely can. Let me grab it from Etsy. It's a really great pattern. It's very simple, so it's beginner friendly, and I believe it's got a few different size options as well. So let me find. I'm really bad at trying to figure out how do you look up a shop. It always pulls up a ton of things. Let's see. I'm gonna put. It should come up. Hold on. There we go. There we go. This one right here. Is this from Quilt Fox? It might be from a different. That's where I purchased it from, but I know for sure this is the pattern. So I don't know if it's like a pattern that shops are buying and selling, or if it was something that Quilt Fox made. There is the link to the cross pattern. Prayers for the whole family. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Stephanie. Sneaking in. Hey, Beth and everyone. And pre-camp appointment, waiting for our daughter's departure. Oh, cool. Oh, that's super, super fun. I just received Happy Mail of scraps and a complete cross wall hanging top was with it. Yippee! That sounds awesome, Patty. That's amazing. Happy Mail is the best. Yep, Maddie is asking, Beth, do you have a cutie quilting machine? I think that's what it's called. Yes, I do. And I did some quilting today. Do you want to see it? Let me know. I have a pattern or a quilt loaded on it right now that I purchased from a yard sale. It was kind of like a de-stash that was happening in my area. And so she had a ton of fabric and she had some quilt tops. And then this one was basted and everything. She did applique on it, and she just never got around to finishing the quilting on it and binding it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy that. It's beautiful. It'll be great for one of my daughters. And so it's been sitting in my armoire for a while. I put it on my cutie frame and I've been doing some quilting on it. It's been really fun. Oh, Austin's coming to get all of the kids' quilts.
I had to ask for them. Yeah, I want my quilts.
Hey, do you guys want to? I guess Louise doesn't have clothes on. I don't know like what YouTube's no clothes policy is, but there's Austin.
There's my hand.
Let me know if you would like to see what's on my cutie machine right now, because I can take a few minutes to show that to you, Maddie. But it's really, really cool. And something needs to be said about customer service from Grace Company. Because when you make these huge purchases, especially for something that you're passionate about, something that's expensive, you want to be taken care of. You want to know that you're like, supporting a good company and that they're going to support you if you have any questions or problems. I need to tell you, I am singing praises for Grace Company. They are so, so sweet. And so I have it. Let me walk over here and show you. Don't judge my basement, y'all. Don't judge it. There's toys and stuff everywhere. Let me move this ring light. I know it's a little obnoxious right in your face. Let me turn it off. It just makes me look a little bit more radiant. So here it is. Here is my cutie frame that my sweet, sweet husband, Austin, can we all give him like a hoorah? Like, Austin is the best. He purchased this for me because I've been like dreaming of having a long arm, but it's just not in the cards for us right now. We don't have the space, and they're expensive. We have kids, we have college funds and stuff like that to set up. But anyway, we thought, let's look around and see if there's an alternative to buying a long arm, something that I can achieve
Oh no, achieved the same kind of results, and also I really wanted a way to quilt, like make more custom quilting for when I do my commission quilts. So I didn't want to always have to send them to a long arm. I do a lot of my own quilting. Just recently I've been getting into long arming and giving my customers that option, like, hey, I have connections. If you want, a certain panto or you want something a little bit extra on your quilting, we have the option to send it to this person and then, go that way. This gives me a way to do some of that on my own if they want like fun swirlies, or if, they give me the go ahead to just go have fun with it. I get to do that. But I did some quilting today. This is my laptop, so this is really hard. So I tried doing some swirly like feathers, and I've just been practicing on this quilt. Super, super cute. It's a great layout to do some practicing on because it's like stripped pieced. So I've been really enjoying just having it on there. And whenever I have a few minutes of free time, I do some doodling. And it's been a lot of fun. So I highly recommend. But what I was getting at, to the point, I started getting out of track. Grace Company is amazing. So we have the setup. We have the Juki, which is not Grace Company affiliated, but we have the frame. I got a laser to eventually trace those pantographs and hopefully do some pantograph quilting. And then we got the stitch regulator later on because I was playing around with it and I was like, you know what? My stitches don't look that good. I can't like keep a consistent speed or nothing, none of that. So we got the stitch regulator, and it worked for about a week. I'm sorry, you hear my kiddos. They do not like nap time. It worked for about a week and then it started malfunctioning, like seriously malfunctioning. I was on the phone with Tiffany, like, Tiffany, what do I do? I don't know what to do. It's not working. And it was like a dangerous feeling. You've got a machine, an industrial sewing machine, attached to a stitch regulator that was not working properly. I was like afraid the needle was going to pop off and fly up into my eye, or, something was going to combust, something crazy, because it just was very, very strange. So I called the company and I was like, hey, I just purchased the stitch regulator and it's not really working out. And I explained what was going on, and he was like, okay, we'll send you another one. We'll send you another one. Like, that was that easy. I didn't have to do like, what's your warranty? What's this? When did you purchase? What's your receipt date? Nothing. They were like, okay, we'll send you a new one in the mail. It'll be in there, be to you in about a week. And just send the old one back that's not working. And that was it. That was it, guys. It was amazing. I was just like, I got off the phone call and I was like, yes, we are in cahoots with a really great company because they care about the customers. They did not make it a hassle for me. So if you're considering the Cutie, I really like it. I have a lot of practice to do, a lot. I'm not going to be an Angela Walters or a Tiffany anytime soon. I know it. But just having those little bits of times where I can practice and kind of get the hang of the movement of it all really, really helps. And it's just fun. It's just fun. Marie, Austin, you made an awesome investment in getting your wife that machine. I'm sure you're so proud of her. You're a good man with a good woman. Continued blessings to you and your family. Marie, you are so sweet. That is so sweet. Ah, you're a sweetheart. Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, I really do like it, Maddie. Oh, I did not mean to star it. I really do like it. It's fun. I would recommend getting the stitch regulator. It just makes your stitches more consistent and pretty. The biggest problem I have with the Cutie, not anymore, but when I first started out, was remembering to put the presser foot down. I know. I've never had that problem with any other sewing machine. But for some reason, when you're on the Cutie and you have your fabric like right mesh with your foot, you sometimes forget that, wait, my presser foot's not down, even though it's touching the project. So that was the hardest thing. If you do not put your presser foot down, you will have a thread party going on in the back of your quilt, and it gets messy. So Maddie says, Beth, those ABC clips are sold out. Give her some time. She hand makes all of those. So she does restocks. And if I see her give out a restock notification on her Instagram, that's a great way to stay in touch. If you do have Instagram, Maddie, I will kind of put like maybe a little short on here or a short video ringing the bell. Hey, they're back in stock, because they're great. I love them.
But yeah, she hand makes every single one. So, and she's a busy gal. She's doing quilting. She's big on Instagram, and so give it some time, and she'll definitely have some more sets out. I'm really hoping that someday she adds in like a number set, because I think it'd be really cool to have numbers to go with my letters. I want a cutie. Go for it. If it's in the cart, like if you can afford it and you can work it in, definitely go for it. And if you're doing quilting, like that's a great way to add it into your commission quilts and add some like, bam, look at what I can do. Like, come get quilts from me. I can do fun swirlies and flowers. Ashley goes, woo, go Austin. Oh, yay, that's fun. Sometime today, Brandy will announce her winner for the giveaway she had, aka 100 Proof Quilter. That's going to be fun. I really like Brandy and her video. She's sweet. Girl, you are, and you are doing fantastic. Thank you. Colleen's asking, or Teresa's asking Colleen, do you have a Facebook? All right, I made it to the bottom of the chat. I showed you some of my quilts. I showed you some of the quilt portfolio that I have going on Facebook. We chatted about the cutie frame. I had a good time. I had a really good time. Thank you for tuning in to my impromptu live. I thought that before nap time would be the perfect time to steal all of the quilts in the house, because my son is attached to his. He has to have his quilts, all 3 or 4 of them. He has to have them. Zoe, she don't care. She doesn't care. So I thought this was the perfect time to hop on and show you guys my work and chat with you guys and hang out for a little bit. And I had a blast. So thank you to everyone who tuned in and kept me company and just, sang some praises. You guys are just too nice to me. Thank you. It really does mean a lot, and I appreciate everyone's support and kindness. But I'm going to let you guys get back to your Sunday, or if you're in Australia, Monday. I have to keep into account that there are some viewers from all over the world. So whatever day it is for you, I hope you have a good one, and I will talk to you guys later. All right. Bye, everyone. Bye, Marie. Bye, Teresa. Bye, Janine. Happy sewing. Go get some fun quilts done today. Spend time with family. Relax. Do whatever you want. Bye. Bye, Patty.